Hey you guys, it's Peter and welcome to my channel, Peter Watches TV, where I watch all the TV shows, all the true crime, all the messy reality TV shows, all the trending shows on Netflix and Apple and Peacock and everywhere else. And then I come over here and I talk about them. And so if you like to watch TV shows and you like to talk about TV shows, maybe you don't really have anybody to talk about with the TV shows that you watch, come over here and hang out with me and let's talk about TV shows. I love watching TV. It's my favorite thing. I love to every night get my coffee ready and whatever I'm going to drink for the evening, light all my candles and sit down with my iPad and I'm like, whew, I'm relaxed and I'm going to watch my shows. And last night, I got caught up on The Last of Us. I got caught up on Hacks and I also got caught up on 1,000 Pound Sisters, which is what I'm going to be talking about today. And I'll explain to you why I switched the sequence, because I was going to do Polyfamily today instead of 1,000 Pound Sisters. I'll get to that in just a second. But before I do, I just want to say, if you are somebody that regularly watches this channel, no matter what I post, thank you, first of all. I love when I get comments that people are like, I don't even watch Sister Wives. I don't even watch 1,000 Pound Sisters. I just love hearing you talk about the shows. Thank you. That is such a cool compliment. I love that. But here's the situation, okay? I got an email this morning. So we're having a lot of like construction done on the outside of our condos. Our whole building, which is 4 of us, neighbors that are all kind of connected. So they did repairs and then they're going to do roofing and then they're going to do painting. So I found out today that I got an email that they're starting the roofing tomorrow, weather permitting. Okay, if it rains, they will not be starting on it. But they will be coming out here between 7 and 7:30 in the morning and they will be staying until, and I'm so thankful that they're doing it. And the person I talked to, she was so nice. But they will be staying until the sun goes down, which has been like 8:30, 8:45 in Indianapolis. And it's going to take 3 to 4 days. And they're also working on Saturdays, if weather permitting. So I don't know when I will be able to film because she said it's going to be so loud that the walls will be shaking. So if I decide I want to film, I can always go down to like where the pool is and I can film down there and just walk away from it. My mother-in-law's offered me to come over to her house and film. My cousin Caroline offered. Well, she didn't offer. She suggested that I should probably get a hotel room for the next couple days. I was like, I'm not getting a hotel room. So anyway, if it's really that bad, I may just take the day and read and do some walking and, you know, look at it as a little mini vacation. And it will, by the end of like middle to end of next week, the roofing and the painting will all be done, which I'm so thankful for. But during that time, just day by day, I don't know if I'll be able to film. So I just wanted to say it in case you guys are like, where's Peter? Like he didn't do his Sister Wives coverage on Monday or something. I'm going to do my best. But I don't know. I might have to wait and film it like at 2 o'clock in the morning on the front porch. So we'll just we'll play it by ear. But I just didn't want anybody to worry about where I was if I'm not posting a video reaction when I typically would. And I won't be putting out any statements. So for the next week, it'll just be kind of like touch and go a little bit depending on the roofing situation. So, and then after that, I'm going to be filming videos every day over here, baby. Every day. So let me tell you what happened. So last night, I was getting ready to watch Polyfamily before I got caught up on my other shows. I need to do some lip treatments today. It's a lip thing. Talking about Amy Slaton, Queen Tammy. Oh my God. Anyway, I had to say Queen Tammy's mother last night, she kind of won my heart a little bit. But anyway, so I wasn't going to watch 1,000 Pound Sisters. Last week, what I did was I watched 1,000 Pound Sisters and Polyfamily, and I did both the videos on the same day. It's a lot to watch a show, take notes for 2 hours, and I just kind of want to sit back and enjoy the show, which I do while I'm watching the show, but I take pretty, like, aggressive notes the whole time that I'm doing it. Like, everything they say, I'm writing down and stuff like that. So, I was going to do Polyfamily last night, and then 1,000 Pound Sisters, you know, I was going to do the reaction today, and then 1,000 Pound Sisters tomorrow. But I was rolling through Facebook before I started. I'm friends with Amy Slaton, Halterman, on Facebook. And I noticed, I need a little lip gloss for this one. I noticed that she's engaged. She posted yesterday that she was engaged to Brian. I was like, congratulations, I guess, Amy Slaton Halterman. Are you engaged to the camel? I don't know. I'm confused about it. But then people started sending it to me that on the show. So I was like, oh, like she's been engaged for a while. And the reason why she posted on Facebook tonight, I thought she got engaged like yesterday. And I was like, oh, the reason why she's announcing on Facebook is because it was on the show tonight. Then I was like, oh, so if Amy Slaton's engaged, I gotta watch the show tonight. I've gotta watch it tonight so I can react to it. Tomorrow, Poly Family can wait. They're in a hot tub doing God knows what. So anyway, all these people are sending me all this stuff about Sean from a Poly Family, about how he has 5 kids that he don't have nothing to do with and all that kind of stuff. Are we surprised? I think the whole family's weirdos is what I think. Anyway, so does it surprise me that, no, not at all. Okay, before I get into this though, I do want to say something about last week when I was talking about the arrest and things like that, because I was talking about the camel bite, and that was like, I think 2 weeks ago, and then last week was talking about the arrest, and that Amy talked about, she was surprised that, okay, so if you didn't hear me talk about it, what I talked about 1,000 Pound Sisters was when they showed the situation, what it was she and her boyfriend, now fiance, Brian, were with the Glenn and Gage, her 2 sons, and they were at this drive-through safari and zoo in Alamo, Tennessee. And so, not Alamo, Texas. Silly, there's no basement in the Alamo. Y'all remember that movie? Anyway, so anyway, and then Amy got bit by this camel, okay? Well, when the ambulance came, Amy said that the police always come with an ambulance, all right? And that the ambulance, like, they searched Brian's car and they found marijuana. And when she said that, and I didn't look. I was like, that's not what I remember. I remember them finding, I thought mushrooms and marijuana, and it was like child endangerment. But Amy on the show made it act like it really wasn't that big of a deal. Now, the reason why this is important and is into the context of the show, okay? I think that, as many people know, we live in a very pro-marijuana world right now, right? Especially in the United States, where a lot of states are legalizing marijuana and things like that. And for those of you that do not know, I've been sober for over 30 years, but I don't judge anybody that does their business, how they want to do it, blah, 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 whatever. Just stay safe and all that. So, you know, and I know I have a lot of people in my life that I know that smoke marijuana recreationally and things like that. Not around me, thankfully, but I mean, you know, I don't really, to be honest with you, look at it a whole lot different than somebody having a cocktail in the evening. It's how I kind of look at it, as long as it's not causing you problems in your life where you're getting arrested and one of the charges is child endangerment, okay? So the reason why it's pertinent to the show, and I wanted to clarify this, is because Amy's acting like she doesn't understand why her family is reacting the way that they are, and that they're all worried about the kids. Well, the reality is that if it were just like a marijuana possession charge, like she had a blunt or she had a joint on her or something like that, it probably wouldn't be that big of a deal. And that's what Amy acts like happened. She said that they, you know, put Brian into the car. She didn't understand why they were putting the kids in the ambulance. She's at the hospital and they come in and they arrest her. And she had no idea what was going on. Well, what happened, and I remember this when it went down, because I even said to Amy, I was like, what happened? She explained to me. I said, Amy, like, you need to kind of get it together. Like, I'm kind of a little worried about you for the boys and stuff like that. And she kind of played, you know, the way she done the show. She acted like it was no big deal. But I was like, I remember there being like several substances. I thought mushrooms were involved. And then I did remember the child endangerment thing. So I wanted to look it up before I made my video today, because I was like, Amy acts like they just got busted because they had some pot in their car, okay? And she really minimizes it. So I looked it up. I was like, what actually were the charges? And I looked them up. At that time, I just pulled the first article that came up, and this is from, I think this is from like the Los Angeles Times or something, May 16th of 2024, so almost a year ago. Upon arrival at the scenes, deputies were immediately overtaken by suspicious odors coming from the guest vehicle. And I do remember that. They talked about that in almost, I think I made a video about it at the time. The county sheriff's department said in a statement at the time, authorities said they found marijuana and psychedelic mushrooms along with 2 young children in Halterman's car. So Amy and Brian are out of the car. The 2 kids are in there with the drugs. She and her boyfriend were subsequently arrested on suspicion of illegal possession of Schedule 1 and Schedule 6 drugs and child endangerment. Okay, well, now it makes sense why the family's worried that she could possibly lose the kids to Michael, her ex, and that she needs to pull it together. She acts like it's just this, I mean, you know, and it's just like she had a little bit of pot in her car, and she's smoking the pot because she has a marijuana maintenance card or marijuana medical card, which in Kentucky, they just started actually being able to prescribe marijuana. I looked it up legally in December. So when this happened, there's no way she could have had a marijuana medical card in Kentucky. So she's flat out lying on camera. She's minimizing the situation. And so it does play into the story because everybody is saying, and at the time that this happens, she's been dating this guy for 6 weeks. She then goes on to tonight's episode and she gets engaged to the man after what is now probably 3 to 4 months. She's engaged and planning to move into this man's house with her kids. And I said this last week, and I try to be so fair in these reality show reactions. But I did grow up with my parents getting separated when I was 5 or 6 and getting divorced several years later. Neither one of my parents, and I can remember my mom was I met like one of my dad's girlfriends that he dated for like 2 or 3 years before I even met her, and then my stepmom. And that was like after a year of them dating. My mom was very serious, and so was my dad, about not meeting whoever they were dating until they knew that they were going to stay around for a while. Like because they did not want me to develop a relationship if the possibility was they could be gone. Amy, like literally at 2 weeks or a week, she's talking about what a great guy he is and he wants to do stuff with the boys. I mean, it's a little concerning to me that she already has this guy that she really knows nothing about. And in the first 3 months of them being together, they already share arrest charges for drugs and child endangerment. And she thinks this is a good guy for her kids to be around. And she wonders why her family has issues when both of them have been charged with child endangerment. Literally, Michael could take her to court and get full custody for these kids. They keep on talking on the show about she'd get 30 years, she'd get 30 years. We know that didn't happen now. I think she got probation or something like that. And I'm watching it and I'm like, for these drug charges, she's not going to get 30 years. I'm not going to throw her in, Kentucky State Prison for 30 years for possession of mushrooms and whatever. But child endangerment, I mean, they could bring in a Division of Family Services. She could have a caseworker. I mean, she could have to have supervised visits. Michael could get custody. I mean, it is kind of a big deal when it comes to the kids. That's a big charge. So the fact that she just is playing so light about it. In fact, she even goes to the chiropractor in this episode. And he says something, and she goes, I just want to smoke pot. Can't I just smoke pot for the pain? I mean, she doesn't even get it. It's like Amy does not even really understand the severity of it, which, in the last episode, Tammy said to her, you lost all this weight. You wanted to do all this so you could have kids. Like, where's your priority? Amy's priority is this man. Her priority are not her kids. And that is really, really sad. As somebody that has tried to be supportive of Amy for years, it's so obvious to me when I'm watching the show. And I'm not making excuses for it anymore, okay? You've now gotten engaged to this man at 3. She got so pissed. At the end of the show is when they get engaged, okay? She and Amy and Brian, Tammy and Misty all go to this haunted house because Amy wants them to spend more time with Brian to get to know him, okay? Somebody said, somebody messaged me, or a couple people messaged me and said Brian seemed really off. We're just going to throw it all out there, the real deal, okay? And somebody said Brian seemed really out of it at the end of the show. Like, he seemed like maybe he was, like, high or something like that. Oh, 100% he seemed off to me. I've seen the man on dates with Amy. They've interviewed him before. I mean, we now know the man well enough to know. At the end of the episode, Tammy says to him, well, I'm just concerned because you guys are taking it so fast. And he's like this, thanks. I mean, yeah, he acted weird as shit on the show. Acted absolutely weird as shit. And then Amy storms off with him and says, Tammy and Misty can't even be happy for me when something good happens in my life. And Tammy, if it's not about Tammy, then she doesn't care. No, Amy, you're missing the point. Your family fucking gives a shit about you, and you don't know this man, and they don't know this man, and you just got arrested for child endangerment. Where are the boys in this situation, Amy, that you lost all this weight to be able to get pregnant to have in the first place? She sits there and talks about how she's such a hoe and she's dated all these guys and whatever. Then what makes you think this guy's going to last? Because he's got a big house with a yard and better schools? You don't know that this is going to last. I mean, it's a mess. It is really, sadly, a mess. And I don't think that Amy is taking it seriously at all. I mean, if this was filmed 6 months ago, this was filmed on Halloween of 2024. We're now in May of 2025, so she's been engaged for 6 months with this man, okay? Y'all going into these kind of drug and alcohol programs. She's going into parenting classes. I mean, she's never gone to any kind of like parenting classes for her or Michael. I mean, this guy's now going to be the father that's taking care of your kids. I mean, to me, it's just, I don't know. It's a lot to me. So she got on camera, and TLC allowed her to completely lie about the charges that she suffered, okay? She didn't say anything in the episode about child endangerment. She didn't say anything in the episode about mushrooms, psychedelic mushrooms, okay? She says she was smoking pot because of her bad back and that she had a marijuana medical card for it. Okay, well, where on that marijuana medical card did the doctor prescribe you psychedelic mushrooms so that you could be tripping and your boyfriend could be tripping while you're driving through a zoo taking care of your 2 kids in the back, okay? Listen, I read Go Ask Alice. Okay, I've done my fair share of psychedelics back in the day. I don't understand how you think that that's appropriate to be taking care of the kids or having that around the kids. Okay, even if you weren't using at the time, what if the kids had gotten into those mushrooms? If the police could find them that easily, do you think the kids could possibly find them that easily? I've seen them in the house run around. This episode, they threw a shoe or something at Amy's face and it hit her in the forehead. Those kids are not contained and not parented whatsoever. They run around all the time. She and Brian are out of the car being tended to by the EMS guys. Those kids could have found those mushrooms and ate those mushrooms. It could be a completely different story. And Amy's not taking it seriously at all. She's pissed because Tammy is not giving her the celebration that she wants to be engaged to a guy that she don't even know. She doesn't even know this man. You know, it's baffling to me. So let's get into my notes now that I'm at 15 minutes in this video and I haven't gotten in my notes yet. Okay. Whew. So the beginning of this, Amy, Chris, and Tammy are driving to go shopping for Amy to find something to wear for court. They're talking about Amy going to court. Amy's very frustrated. It's exactly the same place that the episode last week ended. Chris is talking to Amy about needing somebody else to be there that can drive her home because if Brian gets arrested and put in jail and Amy is released, then she has nobody to drive her home. And she's like, well, all I have right now is you. Because her and Amanda are not good terms. Amanda wasn't really in this episode at all. She and Amanda are not on good terms because Amanda's living with her and she doesn't want to be around Amanda, so she won't ask her to drive. Tammy doesn't drive. So it's really Chris that she's relying on, or Misty, and she doesn't ever ask Misty for any favors, it seems like. So she's at the store and she's looking for something modest. She says she wants to wear something business, something that you'd wear to church or a funeral. Tammy says that Amy usually dresses like a hoe. You know, the hoe joke thing is kind of funny. You know, that Amy's a hoe and Amy owns being a hoe. And it's funny to some extent, except for when it comes into context that she's now got this man that's just one line of men that she's engaged to and moving her kids into the home that she doesn't know anything about. That's not funny to me. I don't know. It feels different to me somehow. And then they're out talking about sizes, and Amy's like, she's an extra large, and Tammy looks like she's afraid to answer because she's like, what are you? And Tammy's like, I'm a large, which means that Amy is now bigger than Tammy. And then Tammy says that Amy has been putting on a lot of weight since she's gotten arrested. Amy says she doesn't know how much she weighs, and she doesn't care because she's got bigger things to deal with right now. And I 100% agree with that. But baby, you might not want to forget that the show is called 1,000 Pound Sisters, and it's about your weight loss surgery. Now, Amy Slaton got her weight loss surgery season 1, I believe, or got approved for it, and then had it season 2. Amy Slaton is the reason her weight loss surgery is why they have this show, okay? We're now on season 7. I haven't heard Amy. She couldn't do a squat in the chiropractor's office before she fell on the floor, okay? Now, you got a show about weight loss. Chris is talking about skin removal surgery. Tammy's talking about skin removal surgery. Brittany is going in there to get her diabetes under check, which broke my heart hearing all of that. And she's talking to Dr. Smith about that for possibility of weight loss surgery. Okay, everybody in the family is talking about it. Amanda and Misty even talk about it. The only person that doesn't talk about it is the star of the show from back in the day, Amy Slaton. That was the originator of getting the weight loss surgery. Her and Tammy started it together. And Amy never talks about weight loss, her weight, wanting to do better, wanting to exercise. She never talks about it, ever. It's turned into literally a shit show of Amy and her poor behaviors is what it's turned into. And then she wonders why her family's concerned about her. Well, maybe make better choices and let's talk about what the show originally was about, which was about you and your sister and your weight loss journey. But apparently that's not what the show's about anymore. I guess. I don't know. Tammy says that she doesn't realize that this is serious at all. And then she ends up buying this all black suit to wear to court because she says, like, my lawyer's wearing a suit. I should probably wear a suit. Then it shows, next scene is Tammy taking her mom to the salon to get her hair cut. She's pushing her in a wheelchair. Tammy says that, where does she say the thing about? She says it's really cool that she can push her mom in a wheelchair when everyone else had given up on Tammy. And I think, like, that is such a pivotal moment. This is literally the season of Tammy's successes. I mean, we saw Tammy lose the weight and all this kind of stuff, and she seems so happy this season. But in seeing her get in the water have a healthy relationship, you know, be able to get on tables, walk upstairs. There's so many things that she was so restricted to do, so afraid to do. I mean, remember the cabin trip when she wouldn't go in the cabin? She would never get in the water, things like that. And all these successes that she's having. When I saw her pushing her mom into the salon, I was like, this is a huge moment. Like, I hope this is not missed on everybody else that's watched 7 seasons of this. Because her pushing her mom in the wheelchair is literally full circle for Tammy Slaton. And I thought it was really cool. Her mom wants to get a pixie haircut. Her mom's hair is like this long. It was funny because her mom, they cut off a bunch of hair. And this is so Midwest. I mean, I live 2 hours from them. She said something about, her mom cuts her hair, they cut her mom's, like, one part of her hair out. And she goes, the hairstylist goes, that's enough to make a wig. And her mom goes, then make a wig out of it. I lived. I was like, make 5 wigs out of it, baby. So anyway, she gets her hair cut in this pixie cut. It looks real cute, actually. They talk about Amy and the camel bite, and then they talk about Amy going to court, and they talk about Tammy's weight loss surgery, and then her mom says that she's like a whole new person, and that she's more mouthy now, but in a good way, that she stands up for herself, which I thought was an interesting, different perspective than how, like, Amanda and Amy always say that Tammy is so mouthy and whatever, but her mom sees it as, for once, she's standing up for herself. I thought it was interesting to see a different perspective of that, you know? She wants her mom to meet Andrea, her girlfriend. She knows it's the next step in the relationship, but she doesn't know if she'll introduce her as her girlfriend or not. So then is a scene of Amy at the chiropractor, and she's talking about how her back has hurt her forever, and that her doctor prescribed her a card so that she could smoke marijuana legally, but it's not legal in marijuana. And I'm like, okay, but what about those medical mushrooms that you took to go on the medical trip to get, I mean, are the mushrooms for your back as well? Because you don't even address the mushrooms on the video or the show. Anyway, they do the stress test on Amy. Then she meets with the doctor, and then she says she's looking for better ways to manage pain. She doesn't want painkillers. She'd just rather smoke pot all the time is what she says. Okay. So then she says they did this brain test on her, and her brain is functioning at, I believe, well, he says 14%, and they would like it to be at, like, I think 98 is what he said. He's real nice about how he says it, but the producers are asking him questions about, like, Amy's brain activity, and he says her brain could be working a lot better. 14% versus 98 is basically, and they talked about it on the show, so they brought it to the show. He has her do this mobility test and do this squat, which, I mean, she kind of makes a joke out of. She's like, I don't know what a squat is. And she falls over doing one squat. She can't even stand up, so she fails the mobility test. And then he has her stand or lay down on the table, and she's like, my feet are a little bit dirty. I took a picture of it, so I'm going to put it up right here, right somewhere. Ma'am, okay? You are a mother, okay? I don't know if you are washing their feet or their bodies or keeping them in clean clothes, but this is disgusting, okay? You need to take care of this right away. You need to take care of this right away, okay? This is disgusting, all right? This is Sister Wives Season 2. Amy Slaton, wash your feet, okay? That is disgusting, Amy. So anyway, now we're at Amy's house. The kids are running all over the place. Tammy comes to visit. The kids are dressed up as policemen and police cars. They're actually kind of really cute costumes. But Tammy says that she thinks it's so fitting for what happened. Anyway, so she's there to help decorate for Halloween. Amy says that she is the true goddess of Halloween. And that I do love her fascination with horror movies and Halloween. And she named her kids Glenn after The Walking Dead, Gage after Pet Cemetery. I love that. I love any name that has a story to it. So anyway, and she says it's probably the last year that she's going to decorate in her house because she's moving in with Brian. Tammy acts real surprised by this and is like, what the hell is she thinking? Like, what is she doing moving in with this man so fast? She's not having a party this year. They're going to go to a haunted house. She invites Tammy, and she wants Misty to go, but she doesn't want Chris or anybody else to go. Or Chris is busy or something like that. She doesn't want Amanda to go. She wants her family to get used to Brian. She feels like they have wrongfully judged him for the Campbell situation. Okay, but if you're just watching a show and you don't remember the history, what she's saying that they wrongfully judged her for is him having a little bit of pot in his car, okay? She doesn't say that he had multiple drugs in his car and left the kids unattended, and that he also got child endangerment charges. Now, I don't know, like, if that you're going to present that to the show, then present the whole truth, okay? And give the viewer all the information, because that's not fair to say, my family's wrongfully judged him when they know that this man has gotten charges of child endangerment, and she's now wanting to move in with this man for her kids. I would be concerned about that if it was anybody in my family or friends or a neighbor down the street that I hardly knew. I would be worried about that. I'm worried about it on a TV show. I don't know why her family wouldn't be worried about it. So anyway, but just remember, the reason for them to go to the haunted house is so that her family, who doesn't really know Brian very well, can get to know Brian better. Because the reason this is important is because on that trip, for Tammy and Misty to get to know Brian better, he proposes to Amy. Okay, so that's not really what it's about, I guess. Although she doesn't know that she's getting proposed to. Although she kind of acted like she did know. I don't know. Then we're at with Britney and Chris, and they're going to see Dr. Smith to get her diabetes under control. And she talks about how her doctors are wanting to put her on insulin. And the doctor talks about how diabetes is one of the worst diseases ever because it affects so many organ systems. She wants to know if she's a candidate for weight loss surgery, and he says she's actually an ideal candidate for it. She's more typical of what they usually see for weight loss surgery, and that Tammy is actually the exception. She talks about how she drinks 6 sodas a day, sugar sodas, not diet sodas, and he gives her a dietary goal, not a weight loss goal, to get the surgery of getting the sugars under control and things like that. Chris laughs and gets mad, kind of jokingly, because he's like, I had to lose a bunch of weight. Every time I came in here, it's 50 more pounds, 50 more pounds, but she gets dietary restriction, and she says she wants to do it for her grandkids. This is like, Britney's always been kind of, to me, somebody that just kind of floated in the background, but this season, I really like Britney a lot this season. Then Tammy and Andrea are going to meet her mom. They go to some place where it's like a buffet, and she never has brought anybody to meet her mom before. Her mom says that she'll know in 5 seconds if she likes her or not, and that she says that Tammy never wants her to meet anybody. Andrea asks her to tell her a funny story about Tammy. Now, this is where you get to see the character of Andrea right away. That the first thing she says to her mom, or after them talking for a little bit, is, I want to know something funny that, from your perspective, I thought it was a very endearing question that you can tell she really cares about it. It's a question that I would have asked, or probably did ask my mother-in-law, when I first met her. Tell me something funny, or tell me something sweet about my husband, or Alex, And she tells a story about potty training, and then Mom asks how they met, and they talk about online dating, and then they start talking, and they haven't stopped yet. Mom says, she's like, I don't care about men on men, women on women, that kind of stuff. I just want her to be happy. And she says Andrea passed the test. Andrea tells her mom that she'll treat Tammy good. And then Tammy says that she's still afraid of introducing Andrea to her siblings. But it was very sweet, and her mom was very accepting of her, at least on camera. So, it seemed that way. Then we go to the haunted house, and like I said, they get proposed to in the what's it called? What's the room they get proposed to? I have it on here. What's it called? Why can't I think? The padded cell room is where he proposes to her. She says yes. They kiss and hug, and then she goes, "We're engaged, bitches." And then Misty and Tammy they are over it. They're just like speaking to each other with their eyes. They even say that they're completely over it. And then they're like, they have to get married on Halloween in a real haunted house. He wants to get married in Waverly Hills, which is a closed down, abandoned psychiatric facility. My friends Aaron and Melissa actually went there on a ghost hunting adventure and stayed there till 2 o'clock in the morning. But that's where he wants to get married. They say congratulations to her outside, and Amy said it would have been better if Tammy and Misty weren't there, but she's the one that invited them there, so she probably should have told her fiancé that. And Misty says she should have gotten herself together before doing this. Like, you're going to court, the kids aren't taken care of, you're not taking care of any of your issues, you're not doing anything for it. You need to get this taken care of before y'all get engaged. There is very much this teenage element of just let me, marry me, let's have babies together. It very much is that with Amy. Tammy says they need to slow down, and he just goes, thank you, to her. And then he just was acting so weird in this part. It just was so weird. Amy uses the excuse of comparing it to arranged marriages, except that this isn't an arranged marriage, Amy. And you can take as long as you want to be engaged, to date this man. You have the option to not be in an arranged marriage. So it's a really piss poor example, because you have the option to not be in an arranged marriage. You have the option to let this man get to know your kids as long as possible before you decide whether or not this is the correct man to be around your kids. So it's a horrible comparison. She uses the excuse, and he says he would have proposed to her in a jailhouse. Misty and Amanda are just looking at each other the whole time like this is a mess. Amy says she thinks they're mad at her, and that nothing that she does ever pleases them, so why even bother? They can't ever be happy for her. She says if it's not about Tammy, then she doesn't care. Tammy says she don't care if she made Amy mad. She's like, I don't care. I don't care if I made Amy mad. And Misty says the same thing, and I don't think they should care. Because they're showing their love and compassion for Amy and the boys, which she's been asking for years, and she sees it as a negative, you know? This whole family needs family therapy is what they need. Anyway, that was this week's episode. Let me know. Somebody said to me, are you going to go to Amy's wedding? I said, oh, if I was invited, I don't know if I would, but I surely would be wearing my Hey Dudes or my slides. Anyway, let me know what you thought about this week's episode. I love you guys, and hopefully I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.